Are we going to call each other Rich and Sam, or because I've always called you Harris, you've always called me Harra, which is short for Harrison, short for Harra. Then it was Ara, but
yeah, just Ara.
Doesn't work, does it?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what we call each other.
I've got a bit of a problem with like dirty work with Sam and Rich. It sounds like
yeah, it don't sound great. No,
or no, not CBBS, CBBC. Like 5 o'clock when you've finished football, you get home. It's dirty work with Sam and Rich. That's what.
Yeah, and
especially that blue background you've got going on. It's
which the light is fucking terrible for at the minute. There's some real sunlight coming through, so I'd have to sort of hopefully that the sun is like
Mad Max with like the chrome face.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, that's nice. Mad Max.
Yeah, that will move and we're just going to have to wait about 5 or 10 minutes. It comes across the front of my office. But yeah, I'm not sure about Rich and Sam. I mean, there are some underage drinkers in the UK at the moment, but I don't think CBBS is quite. I don't think we're going to be featuring on that, are we?
No. Do you think you'll ever move to being called Richard again? Is that?
I call myself Richard. You know, I did. Somebody asked me this in the week, and I don't know why I've gone from Rich to Richard now. I don't know whether that's a hitting 40 thing.
Yeah.
But I do much prefer to be called Richard for some reason, and I used to hate the name. Did you when you grew up? Did you want a different name?
No, I was always fine. I think Sam. I don't think there's many people who can say anything good or bad about Sam. It's just fine. It is just.
Really? I remember being in primary school and wanting to be called Scott. Don't know why Scott. I love the Scott. And then there was a Scott that joined from another school in year 6. Scott joined Sketchfield Primary School, and I was like, I don't want to be Scott anymore. Actually, don't fancy that. It's not a good name.
But at first, were you staring at him, just going like, "You bastard"?
Yeah. Who's this?
You took my name.
Who's this coming in? Thinking your name's Scott?
Yeah. Shall we play the theme tune that you and your brother so caringly made?
Let's say the theme tune that my brother has made.
Yeah.
And I've listened to and gone, yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's play it.
Yeah.
So, plenty to get through.
Yep.
And, you know, this is the debut of a podcast that you're going to speak about in a minute, about what your inner old self would think. But my current inner self is struggling with the prospect of me having a podcast, especially to do with mental health and sobriety, because it is the most, at times for me, irritating market in the world. And I think that's why I've wanted to do it, is because not everything, that's wrong. There's some really good stuff out there. But everything where I suppose when you're going through life, you just want to find people on your level, don't you? Whatever you're doing, whether it's drinking, not drinking, drugs, raving, whatever your hobbies are, you want to find a community that's on your sort of wavelength.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think in sobriety, since I've not been drinking anyway, I've kind of not quite found my sort of group of people, I don't think. I don't know if there is one, because I am insane.
Yeah, you see, it's quite an interesting thought that I've never I've never actually thought about that, but you do. Like instantly when you said that, like when you gravitate towards and you find a community, and I definitely locally had like a little rack pack, you know what I mean, of drinkers, you know, people you knew you could text.
Yeah.
You didn't like, you got to a point where you didn't even need to say any words. You could like send like an emoji or a GIF or something daft, and they knew what it meant, and that meant you were going out, and it didn't take long. Like you'd send it like 10 in the morning. Oh yeah, could do with a beer, and you knew by 1 o'clock somebody would break.
Yeah.
And you were going in that night. You were in there at fucking 5, 6 o'clock on a Tuesday. But it's so you do find that community, don't you? You know, alcoholics and drug takers and things, and you gravitate towards them. And I guess that's probably how me and you have forged this little 2-man community. You know, because
it's a brilliant community.
It is,
WhatsApp,
yeah.
A WhatsApp.
Yeah, a WhatsApp group. Yeah, a day.
Community of bold men.
Yeah, but you do. Yeah, you do. Once you make the decision to try and better yourself and divorce that old person that you are, you gravitate to people. You try and find people that are going to be like you, don't you? Because you can't. That's the thing, isn't it? You know, when and I know you know this. We've spoken about it a million times. But when you, as hard as it is, you have to clear the old people away, don't you? That doesn't mean you're not friends with them anymore, but you find yourself in the same room as these people less and less and less and less. You just, it can't work. You can't move forward if you stay in the past, can you? You can't go to the same old places. You can't see the same old people.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? I think one thing. I'm not ignoring your point you've just made, but one thing that has always sort of bugged me about all the messages about just life post bit, because it's a different planet once. If you've got an addiction that sort of is a big part of your life, you are just on a different planet, really, aren't you? And we'll speak about that in episodes to come. We've got a million things to talk about, and really going to try hard to stay on track tonight. But one thing, just let me remember what I was going to say. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say something really interesting. Yeah, sorry. One thing that sort of bugged me in all the content that I've ever watched, and you just did it then, and I'm not saying you bugged me, but people say like that basically whatever your experience is, that's what everyone else's experience is.
Yeah.
Or is going to be. And that is a big reason of why I wanted to do this, is because my experience has already shown to be very different to your experience. And I feel like with most sober content and people who talk about mental health, there's this like underlying thing that it's like very same for I know there's so much that's millions of things between me and you that are exactly the same, but also there's just this sort of tone with like sobriety and mental health stuff that the person who's talking is saying the way it's going to be for everyone. So you say there, like, you've got to remove yourself from them old people. You had to remove yourself in ways from certain people.
It's a really, really good point.
It's completely different for everyone, and I that's my like big thing is I want to bi-weekly or weekly, whatever we get to, tell people that everyone's experience with recovery, if they want to recover from something, or just life in general, is just very different to John down the road.
Yeah.
And it's like trying to talk and tell stories and messages and appreciating that, I'll mention him again, John down the road, is maybe got a different story and a different way of seeing things, and might be able to still hang around with the same people. He's just not getting blasted.
Yeah, 100%. And I think probably a good point to make, like at this point, is that definitely myself on this, and I know you'd say the same, but neither of us are the oracle on this. This is just opinions and accounts and stuff like, and I could be sitting here in 3 months' time saying something totally contradictory to you've got to get rid of the old people in your life. You know what I mean? It's like week to week, these opinions might change. You know what I mean? But it's a general message, isn't it? Yeah. You know what I mean? That's kind of the point to make. Like, I don't take me as gospel, because this is just how I've done it, I guess, and that's something maybe to think about in the future for myself. Is don't don't give your opinion as fact.
Yeah, well, I think that is the precursor to everything we say is, this is not a fact. This is just my current middle of December 2025 opinion that is definitely going to probably change this time next year. I actually was thinking, when we were having the problems recording a minute ago, it'd be funny to do like a reaction video to the first episode we do in a year's time, just to see how much more haggard we are, if anything.
Just be like, that'd be 4 bold men. 4 bold men.
Community, so
it would be a big. Yeah, we'd have increased the community. We'd have doubled the community.
I'd like, so the boldness definitely needs talking about, because we actually mentioned it before we started recording.
We did,
but I actually think maybe it's a bigger thing than what we had a laugh about it. But maybe being bold is like a bigger thing than what we think. Maybe it's like a sign of strength. Do you think it's a sign of strength?
I think it does. No, it is hair loss. It's a definite, if we're on the general sort of mental health thing, it's a definite problem for men of our sort of age. I know, and it's a bit more affordable now, isn't it? I know people sort of locally, and people who've had hair transplants, and that's great. I think if I could have afforded that 10 years ago, I would have done that. And had I have not been a complete alcoholic at that point, I probably would have had the money to fly out there and do that. But I was only ever throwing it one way. So.
What would you have?
What would you mean?
Like, what would you have if you had hair? What would you be going for at the minute?
Oh mate, I'd have had like, but
no.
I'd still be like, I'd still be thinking.
It's your big moment. What you having?
Yeah, you see, for me, and this is the God's honest truth. This is embarrassing, but it'd be like a 2000s emo haircut. I've always wanted, because I never could grow longer hair when I was younger, because it always went curly and it was quite thick, believe it or not, and it was always just shit. Like, I couldn't have a PJ and Duncan haircut when I was in primary school. They had like curtains, classic 90s curtains. Couldn't have it. So I'd want to do that because it's something I've never been able to grow. And then in the end, it just, because I couldn't grow that, I think my hair just said, look, this is never going to happen for you. You're not having curtains. We're off, mate. The follicles just said, we're off now. Thanks a lot. It's not. We've given it 25 years of trying to grow it, but this is our best effort now. We're going to call it a day and see in a bit.
Wasted follicles. See, I'm not bothered at all about. I've got a hat on though, so maybe that's like hypocritical. To prove I'm not bothered. I was begging my wife for 2 years, can I just shave my head, please? And she was like, I just don't know. Because once it's shaved, it's sort of shaved. And having a shaved head undoubtedly makes you like 10% more minging, I think.
Do you reckon? You see, because now you've got your hat off.
Yeah.
You've got like... you're like, when you leant down a bit, then it's definitely, you've got that, I need to keep it short. But there was a bit of Jason Statham about it, who falls into that 5% of men that, you know, keep it short and it looks great.
Yeah.
Whereas, and we've said this before we start recording, I've gone for Megamind Blue behind me, and I look like the live action version of Megamind, having shaved my head. And the blue behind me hasn't helped me at all today. But I don't know whether everybody that shaves their head.
Your words were Megamind with an inflated nose.
Oh yes, they were. Yeah, with an inflated, like an eagle. If you put an eagle's beak on Megamind's head, that would be me. So yeah, but I think called Scott. Yeah, Scott. Not a good name for a supervillain with an eagle's beak, is it? Good name for a radio presenter on Radio 2.
Yeah.
But not a good name for a supervillain.
Oh, that's got me. So what have we covered there? Have we covered anything?
Absolutely nothing. Probably not. Maybe we should move back to some form of plot or script.
Yeah, I've got one here. I've written it I went for a swim earlier and wrote one down. Sorry, I keep getting told off saying "writ" at the minute.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It did. It did tick me. I will say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad word. Maybe as the episodes go on, we can have bad words with Sam.
Yeah, writ. I don't mind writ. I think it's easier than wrote. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So if you know what I mean, don't bring it up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It
Roted.
Understood.
I roted that. See, my 6-year-old son says roted. Is he 6? Or is he 5? It's 5.
Well, he's got to sort that out. He's got to sort that out.
Yeah.
You haven't answered the question. I don't know if I asked it. Why are you doing this then? Why are you sat in what looks like a BBC radio studio, but it's actually in your estate agent's with birthday cards hanging above your head, recording a podcast?
Yeah.
Why are you doing it?
And incredibly white. I feel very pale. I've got to sort the lighting out, I think, for the next one. But yeah, I think for me, there is just one reason why I'm doing this, and it's basically because, and I know you'll understand this. For me, there is an old version of myself which you grow to understand and you grow to divorce and get rid of as you go through wanting to change your journey as such. As you were saying, we all have our individual journey, and that creates this old version of you that you start to understand wasn't the best person in the world, was really selfish. And I'm doing this pretty much solely because I know that old person, that old version of me, would absolutely hate it. He would hate this. He would be sitting in the pub sort of saying, have you heard Rich Harris is doing a podcast? What a wanker. What's he think? Why does he think? And I know exactly my own reaction to this past version of me. I know the reaction he would have, but inside, he would be really jealous. He would be really jealous of somebody doing something creative, something positive, something that could potentially help somebody else. He would be absolutely desperate to do something like this. And follow a goal, try and leave something behind. But on the outside, because of the drink, because of the drugs, because of the lifestyle that you get wrapped up in, that hamster wheel of rubbish, he would have to hate it. Naturally, he would have to hate and criticise and scorn. I just know it. So it's just a bit of a short answer to a longer. The shorter answer is it's just a bit of a fuck you to the old version of me.
Yeah.
Because I know he would hate this.
Yeah. Nice. Just thought of Oh, sorry. While you were saying that, I was just thinking of Megamind with an eagle.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
It's tricky to get out of my head. I was also
Megamind on an e-bike.
like, you know that song Amen, "Fuck You Right Back." Just remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could maybe do a Christmas. Not too late to do a Christmas version. Get your brother involved. Fuck you. Is it? No, it's I Don't Want You Back, the first one, wasn't it? And then the girl, Frankie, who I used to fancy, did Fuck You Right Back.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that both versions, past and present versions of Rich Harris, would not like that.
Okay.
They would not like. They wouldn't like a cover of that.
That's fine. Listen.
Yeah, there'll be no Christmas release of that.
We're here to bounce ideas off each other.
We are.
Fine. I think I never thought of it like you said about pissing the old person off. I don't think I do think of it like that, but I know it would. I would have been slightly cynical about that, but I still sort of am. And I've got an inner thing I'm fighting at the minute of like, you know, I think if I hear anyone's doing a podcast, just the word podcast, it is a massive trigger for me now in life. So that's been my main battle, is coming to terms with being a person who's been driving to work and gone, I like this podcast. I think I'm going to do my own one. Do you know what I mean? It's a tricky one because I sort of hate the sort of person who does that, but that's just my own issue that I've got to get over. Because what we have got going for us is people can say whatever they want about, like, does the world really need one? No, it doesn't. But there's probably going to be, say if we've done a legally binding verbal contract, haven't we, me and you, that we're going to do this for at least a year, just regardless.
Yeah, I did my own blood pact. You weren't here for it.
Fine,
I just did it.
Will. So we're in it for the long run, for at least a year anyway. So the fact that I'm doing that, you'd think that within that year it might help one person. So people can say whatever they want, but you can't slag off a doctor or a nurse, for example, for helping someone. So we've got the ultimate defence. Whatever we do on this podcast, whether it's politically incorrect, sexist, we can just go, well, we're sorry, mate, helping someone. Don't help. Yeah, we're helping people at the end of the day, so we can do anything we want that's completely out of order in real life.
At the moment, I do try and take in a lot of social media and help and every avenue I can, and I do find there are very few people that are massively relatable. There is a lot of stuff that just kind of preaches, like tells you, like earlier where I was saying you have to get rid of your old friends and stuff like that. It's a lot of very generic Gucci sunglasses. I find like they do interviews with people at music festivals and you're like, well, that's a stooge. Because you've just asked like a loaded question and he's given you a very rehearsed answer, and you're just like, that is just not relatable to me. And in my early stages of this, I've had to find and weed out all that sort of crap and find one or two people that I can really relate to.
Yeah, I think that is it. And the more people that can relate to a similar sort of message, the better, really. Because I know, like, I think we'll do episodes on maybe like your journey to now, maybe, and maybe mine. Might be really boring, I'm not sure. But it's just, I've lost my train of thought again.
Yeah, I wonder if this is like a thing with podcasting, or is this just me and you?
Yeah, well, it is.
Is this just our brains? Because we've shared stories about boozing at times, and for me, drugs with boozing and things, and I often can really, really relate to some of the stuff you do. So, are we just two peas in a pod, and we keep losing it? We just have brains that don't work.
Because time is valuable, isn't it, these days? Imagine going, do you know what, Sam and Richard Harris, I'll give them a listen, and just listening to an hour of two people losing their train of thought, and then get to work just going like, I've not heard the end of one story. What was
I talking about?
They just start something and then start talking about e-bikes halfway through.
You'd probably be better off just going down to the boozer around about 10:20 and joining a conversation halfway through. It'd be about the same quality level, wouldn't it? Yeah. But me and you are both sober.
Yeah, what's going on?
I was going to ask you a question. I don't know if you know, this is a really short one as well, so you won't lose your train of thought on this. Yeah. But I am 80 days sober again. I will say that again. You know, it's not my first time of trying. So it's only my second, actually. I don't know whether you get a medal for that. Probably not.
But what I don't know. You get is something I came up with. I've been working on it for a few weeks, and it's called the sobriety dub siren. And I just thought it'd be nice when either of us hit a landmark, or maybe a guest hits a landmark, or a listener might hit a landmark. They might ring in. Imagine having a live caller and go like, "Hi, I'm Bethany from Hampstead and Heath, and I've just gone 20 days without Instagram." We can play the dub siren. She can hit the dub siren. So you can have the dub siren for your 80 days. You've got a few options here. There's horn, bubble, lick, M-gun, police, or gun.
I'll have lick today.
Yeah. Did you like that?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I'm going to say yes, I liked it.
Okay, because there's going to be plenty more of that.
Yeah, so moving back, I am 80 days today on the second part of this journey. Yeah. How many days are you? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know, no. I know I'm 3 years in January next year. So that's not now, is it? But
no, and this is like my point from earlier. Like, there is a big difference in time between us, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm loads better than you, basically.
Yeah. And that's why you've upgraded to a nice brick wall with figurines, and I just get this Megamind blue background.
You will get there. You know, I've got a surfboard.
You see, this is stuff.
Trinkets.
Stuff.
We can even do an episode just through the trinkets if you want.
Yeah, I love that word, you know, trinkets.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Great word.
You will get trinkets, don't worry. You'll get to your 100 days and you might get your first trinket.
I might get a trinket.
You want to see my favourite trinket? Imagine smashing it now. It's a Hinkley,
I quite like it.
A Hinkley
wow.
Miniature teacup.
I can see why you would like that, actually, and sort of understand how your brain works, and I can just see why you would love that, why that would be your favourite.
But you asked me how many days I was, so yeah, 3 years in January I'll be. And I suppose the days sober you are just mean less and less the longer you go. Because I could still have a beer today. It's just the same as you could still have a beer today. And you could log off this meeting and you know that and that's it, isn't it? You know, you're only. I think that's something I've definitely learned in this year. And I've had a really good 2025 when I think about some of the years gone by, and you definitely learn as you go on that you're only as sober as the minute you're in. It doesn't really matter. There is a point definitely in early sobriety, and this is quite recent and familiar to me, that you
look at people like yourself and you constantly think, I'm never going to be able to get to that point. And as the time goes on and you get more comfortable with it, you realise that you're no more sober than I am today. Like, just because you're about to get your 3-year trinket, you know, something unbelievably miniature.
Yeah.
You may get your 3-year trinket. So, but you know, in the moment we sit here now, I'm as sober as you. You know, nobody's any better at being sober than the next man. As long as you're not on the piss or you know, taking drugs or whatever it is that your vice is, you're only as sober as the minute you're in.
For me, I just don't care about years. Do you know what I mean? I just don't care. Like, I think at first you have to know, like, dates that are coming up, don't you, to keep you going.
Plays a big part early on, doesn't it? There's and they come, I think rightly so. There's so many little milestones early on, isn't there? A week, a day, a month. You get all these, you know, if you attend meetings and stuff, you get these badges and coins and merch. You get all the merch early on, and then after a while you stop collecting merch, and you get a little bit jealous of the people who, why is he getting he's getting a key ring again?
He's getting a fleece.
I've been coming for 6 months and I haven't had anything again, you know.
I didn't get any AA merch, because I was speaking to you, just to clarify to everyone, all 4 people listening, me and you attempted AA at very similar times, if not the same time, I think. And
pretty much, yeah.
Neither of us really got on with it, and I think we'll speak about that later. But I didn't get given any merch, and you were like, oh yeah, got this coin. And I remember being like, I don't need the coin, but I'd like it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw that people had coins in the meetings as well. I was like, people are getting coins here, and I'm not. I'm not getting coins. And I think that's a big reason why I stopped going, because they weren't giving me the trinkets.
No.
That's what it's all about.
That is disappointing for you. But it's those first few days are so scary. I don't want to talk for you. I never want to generalise for people, because we've already been pulled up on that. You know, that's not what we're trying to do here. Talk for everyone. But I definitely found that first few weeks, first few days, even to a month, maybe even first 3 months, really frightening, terrifying, to the point where, like, I couldn't admit it to people either. I don't know about you, but it was difficult to, be politically incorrect, but it was like coming out as gay in the 90s or something. You know what I mean? It was, you'd go around and they'd be like, oh, I heard you've stopped drinking. You'd be like, oh, yeah, okay. Where? Who's told you that? Yeah. But I was 100 days sober. Like, I'd got 100 days behind me. I hadn't had a drink, and sometimes I'd be a real flag bearer for it. You know, some days you feel like a champion. You're like, this is so good, I'm never going to drink again. And then some days you'll see a certain person who was probably part of that drinking crowd, and you can't confess to them. You can't confess, because it's like,
Sometimes though, I'll still get people, if I've got a gig or something, who'll come up and go, do you want a beer, mate? And sometimes, I don't know if it's their mannerism or they're like a big alpha male or something, I'll be like, no, I'm all good, thanks. And they'll go like, what's wrong with you? And I'll be like, really, I want to go like, I don't drink. But sometimes I do get a bit nervous, and I go like, no, like, I'll make up for it tomorrow. And then, like, I'll be packing away, go like, why have you just said that? You silly.
Yeah. I have that, and have that conversation with yourself afterwards.
Because it's clearly a lot harder and braver to, like, not be drinking in a pub than be drinking. Like, it's really easy to drink out and be pissed. It's the easiest thing in the world ever. But being sober in them, like, sometimes depressing pubs or shit pubs or good pubs where everyone's having a good time and you're, like, maybe on a slightly different level, that's, like, more of a manly, brave thing to do now, really. In my opinion, like, it's
that
is thing to do.
It's dirty work.
Yeah.
It's the hard work you have to do, isn't it? It's the dirty work to stay like you are. It's the harder work. Like you say, it's easier to go out and be pissed. Anybody and everybody. Certainly over here in the UK, it's very, very easy to do. Too easy for me. Too easy.
Maybe I just put this like on a rope around my neck, and I'll just go, see that, mate?
Yeah.
fucking 3-year trinket, mate. Now piss off. Get me a Red Bull.
No need to ask. Get it on a chain.
I've just noticed, so I've just got the image of Megamind with an eagle's beak out my head, but you know when you look straight at the camera, because of the lighting, it's like you got Pixie's ears.
Oh, really? Yeah, because of the...
Yeah.
So,
like one of the elves on Santa Claus the movie, which is festive, so it's fine.
yeah, see, my brain went to Lord of the Rings. Legolas. Is that Orlando Bloom? Is that who he played?
Yeah.
That's where my mind went. Not to Christmas. Yeah. Maybe it should have, being December. But I went to Lord of the Rings. I think I've got a bit more of a Lord of the Rings look about me as well, definitely. Which, there'll be people probably maybe looking at this now thinking, yeah, you look like Gollum. As well, so.
No. I just like already that the dynamic is me just picking apart. I'm sat here in a brick garage, which is dog shit, but still, I'm picking apart your whole appearance. Just
yeah. Well, if I get my 1-year upgrade on background,
yeah.
So in September next year, maybe I can move to the brick garage.
Yeah. The generalised life that I got shown in like online content, I was like, that isn't really what I'm experiencing. Like, my life it is more peaceful and stuff like that now, but it's definitely more exciting, and it's definitely more like adventurous. And I've been in a lot of ridiculous situations on purpose when I've been sober now, and that's where it's like not going to be the same for everyone. I am definitely psychologically. I don't want to say unwell because I don't think I'm mentally ill, but I'm definitely slightly different in a lot of ways, and I like being in dangerous, at times sinister situations.
Really? Sinister's a nice word.
Yeah,
nice
I
word.
don't think it's the right word either, but I like being in exciting adrenaline situations. So I'm trying to manage that, but basically I think there's other people out there who probably similar to at least one of us anyway, and I think that's why this hopefully will work, is we're very different, but also there's some similarities that come with the territory of being an addict that are undeniable.
You see, to totally contradict that from like my perspective and point of view, sometimes I don't feel like I'm at that point totally yet, and there's stuff that like I've been to gigs and festivals this year and stayed completely sober and experienced how good that is on the other side of being able to remember bands and stuff like that and having a really good time and thinking, oh wow, that was great. But yeah. I also feel like there is moments in those early parts of sobriety when you're trying to just abstain and just break the addiction, proper abstinence, without all the sort of self-work that goes, where it is boring as well. I think there is definite parts of sobriety, and I'm not sure, I've never seen anybody sort of get on camera on social media on some of the stuff I've consumed and just say, you will feel bored to begin with because you're so used to the dopamine and going out and getting absolutely nailed every weekend. And when you stop doing that and you just live in the real world and you just watch a Disney, like, for example, just watch a Disney film with your son on a Friday night, you might find that is boring compared to going out and being full on, having a 4-day bender. I think it's okay to feel like that. You know what I mean? It's okay to sort of sometimes get the arse with sobriety, because I sit there and sulk sometimes. And I know you've said this to me in voice notes. You know, when you're feeling sorry for yourself and you kind of want to drink and you think, oh God, this is so boring, I'm never going to be able to do anything. And you can't have, you're just a kid without the dummy.
Yeah.
The dummy of alcohol. And I think it's okay to feel like that, isn't it? And that's a big difference between me and you at the minute, because I don't know if you ever, I might be wrong, I don't want to talk for you, but do you ever still feel like you can't have your dummy? I definitely am still going through periods at the moment where I can't have my dummy, and it feels boring, and I get angry with sobriety. It really, really does.
Yeah.
But you've just got to, it's a great phrase that you actually said this to me, this too shall pass, you know, that phrase. Yeah. You've got to learn to sit in the moment. You've got to understand that it will pass, and you are going to be angry and you are going to feel bored. There is something better on the other side of it. It will pass.
Yeah, I invented that saying as well.
I thought you would have.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Sam Harrison original. Yeah. When I heard it, I thought, that's an original. It's an OG.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, do you still feel like that?
No, not the dummy analogy. It like I say, it's very different because I said to myself on like day one that was it. Unfortunately for me, I'd fucked it. I'd been too much of a greedy baby. I'd had too much dummy, and it you know, and it pushes babies' teeth out, and it just
I've
done that.
You'd had it for too long.
Couldn't talk properly. Had a lisp, and I just said, that is it. I'm done. I've got myself into a corner that I can't get out of now with the booze. Unfortunately, Sam, it's curtains for it, and that just made it like it wasn't a possibility from day one. So for me, because I'm an extreme person, I think I just went, right, alcohol's gone. What else can you do that's give you enough excitement or whatever? And that's been the journey, I think, of where I'm up to now, because as soon as, obviously, what we'll speak about, when you get rid of what you were medicating yourself with, in my case, you're left with a shell of a human with a brain that you don't really know what it is. Well, for me anyway, I didn't know what I was at all. Yeah.
So do you think, you know, if you can remember sort of early sobriety, do you think you went excitement seeking straight away?
So I was like, I think naturally just started seeking excitement, like you say. And living here, there's so much surfing, swimming, skating, still playing rugby a little bit. I then got into more and more hobbies, but then I did try smoking weed a few times, and the few times I did, I was chasing the dragon going, right, can we have more? Can we have more? I went with, we got a good mutual mate, Josh. I had some mushroom chocolate with his mate, Cal, another good mate, and then we smoked weed, and I was like, right, let's go again then. And he was like, no, just chill, watch the dolphins, have a pack of crisps like a normal person. And I was definitely just craving that, like, buzz.
Yeah, the next buzz. Yeah.
I basically just wanted to end up like, I don't know, asleep on a rock or something, and just like, go to that level. And I definitely just chased the excitement. But fortunately for me, I've found hobbies and interests that have been enough to keep me happy.
You see, I think as you described there with my drinking and usage, I definitely did. I mean, not in the early days, but as I got older, I got to points with drink where I wasn't happy until I was sleeping on a rock. You know, I would just drink till I passed out, and I was terrible. And I think this year, a big thing for me hasn't been chasing the thrill that I was always chasing as a drinker. A massive part of my change this year has been just learning to live in the norm. Not understanding that it's so that there is really, really exciting and really, really peaceful things, really rewarding stuff. Fulfillment is the word that and just find it. I haven't had to go seeking adventure and stuff like that and thrill dopamine spikes. It's learning for me not to chase those. That has been a big part of my change this year, is not chasing that dopamine, not needing those spikes.
Yeah, that's an amazing point, really, because I'm like, definitely you have to, like, real life is real life, isn't it? Like, you have to at some point cut the grass and do very, very menial tasks in the house, and that's not going to give you a thrill, but that's just normal.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
What?
I thought that was a metaphor, cutting the grass. You mean literally cutting the grass?
Yeah.
I thought you meant just like cutting the grass, cutting all the shit away.
Yeah.
When you get there was no meta. You are literally, you have to cut the grass. You do, yes, yeah. You do have to do the gardening every now and again.
Yeah, well, us 3 years, we know what cutting the grass means. You'll understand it when you've got your plinth.
Yeah, I'm not at that.
You just don't get it,
when I've got my trinket, yeah. But no. So as you were saying, yeah, you do have to cut the grass. You do have to do menial life.
But I do have to then have some form of excitement, like in the week or at the weekend. And that doesn't have to be like fucking doing a skydive. I play touch AFL, like Aussie rules football, on a Thursday, which is a bit of an insane game, really, but it's actually really fun. But that's an example of something I do now that is enough for me to like keep me occupied. But it's definitely a real process of trying to find like just who you are as a person and what you need to get through a week and a year and a life, I suppose, and be like, yeah, that was all right. What I did, because it's basically a cop-out of having to come up with your own content, is I asked people to send questions in, because I think until you start including people talking about what they might want to hear, you can't really call it a community, can you? So
a movement.
I don't know what we're going to call it. We've already called it a name, haven't we? Dirty Work.
How many questions have you got? Let's, because me and you can waffle. I think we've got to limit this.
Let's do 2.
2 was the number I had. So maybe we do have the same brains.
Maybe you do the first one, and I'll do the second one.
I don't know how this is going to work. Let's go with that format this week. If it doesn't work, I don't know. Let's just go with that. Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Well, you're not really saying anything. Yes or no?
No, I'm not. I'm not giving you a definitive answer, am I?
No. Do you want to answer a question? Do you want me to answer?
Yeah, you go for one. You show me how it's done. I can't read the question out to you though. That's.
Yeah, but I'll ask it to you, and then I'll ask it to myself. Like, it's fine. We've established that I am more years clean time than you, so I get to read the questions. Okay?
Yeah, I think that's only fair.
Okay. This question, and we're not going to start saying names. And I did want to clip up on Alan Partridge where he goes, this person wishes to remain so anonymous, so I'll just refer to him through his Christian name. And he goes, and that is from Domingo in Little Upton. Anyway, that was a really, really long way of saying something not very funny. Here's the question. How do I get a loved one to stop using drugs or see what they are doing is a problem when they do not see it as a problem themselves or are stubborn? They're comparing drinking coffee as a vice for some and doing coke is just their vice.
Is that to me?
That's to you, yeah. What do you reckon? Firstly, do you want to answer it?
Yeah. I mean, I've got to be honest. There's no point, yeah, because that is as far as questions go, that is an extremely difficult one to answer, because I mean there is a very short answer in my opinion and my experience, and looking back at myself to loved ones, who, in particular Lauren, that have tried to help me over the years, is that you can't stop somebody doing what they're doing. You can't. You can try and plant seeds. You can have conversations with them. You can offer them support. I don't know. You can maybe ask them questions about what they think about themselves. I sometimes think for myself, I always had this overbearing thought towards the end of my addictive, properly alcoholic and properly addicted sort of phase. I always had this overbearing question that I used to ask myself every time I wake up, and I couldn't remember what happened, or I'd been on a bender or something. And the question I used to ask myself all the time is, where does this end? What needs to happen for you to stop? So I always feel like there was something inside of me that knew there was an eventuality I needed to stop. And I sometimes think, I wonder if somebody else had asked me that question along the way, where does this stop for you, Richard? What point have you got to get to? It might have helped me. But it's very difficult to have that conversation with an alcoholic and an addict, because they're not, in their own eyes, they're not, are they?
Yeah.
I was never, ever, and even, I remember in January earlier this year, it took me ages to admit that I was an alcoholic and an addict. Even though I'd stopped drinking and I was trying to do something about it, I still sort of had this facade in my head that I'd just stopped drinking.
Yeah.
I wasn't an alcoholic in my own head. It was an alcoholic and an addict was a term that took me a long time to get used to referring to myself as.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the only person that anybody I say this, I'm generalising again, but I believe this to be true. Certainly from my own experience, the only person you are ever going to stop for is yourself. Because there's countless times in my past, for friends, for family, for my wife, for my children, I could try and behave a little bit better for them.
Yeah.
And, say if you went to a wedding or something and you didn't drink too much, you were like, oh, I was really well behaved then. Because you only had 12 pints, something like that, and you thought you deserved a medal for being slightly better. But to actually, admit you've got an addiction and to start seeking help, the only person I think you can do that for is yourself.
Yeah.
You can't do that for anybody else. You've got to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise it won't stick. How many... There are a lot of people that go to rehab multiple times, don't they? Celebrities and stuff who have been to rehab multiple times, and it doesn't stick.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think I just know from the experience with me, though, the seed was planted, and that's like a term that I think is the truest one. Is no one can tell someone you got to quit or send someone to pay for someone to go to rehab. It just doesn't seem to work, does it? No, like the addiction is unfortunately stronger than anything else, and when you're on that, I don't want to say roller coaster because this is a bit more of a serious thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you're on that, it supersedes everything, including your marriage, including your kids, including your family. You don't give a fuck.
Unfortunately so, yeah.
Which is
unfortunately,
insane, isn't it, to think? But that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And but if then people are saying, it can't be you need to quit. But if they're saying, like, do you think you've got a life that could be more fulfilling without doing what you're doing? I still think that is gonna. It might be 5 years down the line, but so my own story is one of my best mates, Boobs, which is a great nickname. Just want to point that out. But he was the person. I don't know if he knows this, but he was just around my house back when we lived in England, and Brodie said, who's my wife, we were having like dinner on a Tuesday or something, and I was like, oh, I'll just have a quick beer. And Brodie did just 1,000 times she said this sentence, but like, do you really need a beer now? And no, why do you need a beer now? And Boobs went, because he's a functioning alcoholic, like in a jokey way. But I knew, because he's like the most straight up guy I know, and I knew that he meant, he was like joking, but he was
but he meant it,
because he's a functioning alcoholic, and isn't that funny? And that was the sentence that this was probably 2016 as well, like 10 years ago nearly. that I know for a fact has been a big part. And what's mad is Brodie's begged me pretty much to stop drinking before, and I was like, yeah, could do that. I could save my marriage.
Yeah, no, I've been there with that. Been there, yeah.
But I'm actually just gonna keep drinking. I think, I'm gonna keep drinking. Like, it's crazy that that's your thought process, but you can't help what that is.
No, and I think you're probably right. Like, to go back to it and answer that question, I think ultimately the answer is you can't, but you can. I think ask questions is the best way. You can't tell somebody, can you? You can't sit somebody down and go, look, you're an alcoholic here. You're doing this, you're doing that. These are all traits, because they won't listen. But if you try and ask somebody the question, like, what do you think about your behaviour at the minute? You know, what, like for me, like I say, like, you know, where do you think this ends? What you know, what's going to be the outcome here? What has to change for you to be better, or something like that? I don't know quite what the questions are, but I think that's all you can do.
Yeah, it is. That's that question. Right, I'm going to give myself like a really nice question. What point? This isn't that nice. It's a good one. I'll answer it. What point did you realise you needed to change? So, for me, it sort of revolves around that seed planting, but there's a very particular story that I shall tell that definitely made me realise that I might need to knock it on the head. And that was a warm summer's evening, and this was 2018, I think. And long story short, had a small barbecue with in-laws around and stuff. I undercooked the burgers because I was rushing the barbecue, clearly more bothered about the Peronis up the road at the Anchor, and did all the barbecue, undercooked them, gave myself a bit of a bad stomach. So we're in the pub, I have my usual amount with my father-in-law, brother-in-law, lovely, normal Thursday, Friday night, whatever it was. I was like, I could go for a shit. Yeah, I'll go for one. Went for one in the pub. Came out, another 3 pints. Right, time to go home. Bedtime, whatever. Walking down the road, and I go, I've just realised I've got no beers in the beer fridge. And I'm like, okay, so if I go in the door to like have a poo, because I needed a shit by this point, really bad.
I feel like I know where this is going.
If I go in there, I've blown my cover, and Brodie's going to go, well, where are you going now? You can't, because, you know, the last thing I want is confrontation. So I either go in the house, have a poo like a normal man, or I'm like, in my head, if I can just make it to the shop to get the 10 Stellas for £10, which was the Spa special,
Yeah.
If I can get there to get down, it's fine. Then I'll work the rest out as and when. And
I think it's a gamble most would take at this point.
go down the road. I get the beers, and that one woman who used to work in Spa, I think, was the only woman who knew the severity of my drinking problems.
Yeah.
And she'd sort of, you know, that look that Duncan gives Kevin at Duncan's toy chest when he buys the thing on Home Alone 2. He's like sort of that knowing look that he gives him when he buys the turtle dove. Do you know that look?
He gives him, hands him that over, doesn't he?
She used to give me that look when I'd buy the beer.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, she knew what was going on. Anyway,
a lot of wisdom in that look. We know what you're doing.
The library, which is like four houses away from mine. I'm like, right, gonna shit myself. Like, this is what you asked for. This is what you decided. So I shat myself, but it was. I can't go too graphic, can I? It's just gonna put people off, but. It wasn't solid at all. And that was it. That was the decision I made. But at the time, I was like, it's fine though. I can just go home, wash my jeans, and wash my shoes. I've got the beers. Like, it's mission accomplished in my eyes.
Yeah.
It's fine. The washing machine will sort it out. I've got the beers. The night goes on. And I think that was the moment that I realised, maybe looking back, that's the moment where I'm like, yeah, that's the moment where I think it was probably a problem.
Can I ask what the next day was like?
Well, so the funny,
because you must have woke up with a hangover. I mean, did you have all 10 Stellas? Can you remember that?
No, I wouldn't have had 10. I would have, because I'd already had a lot. So it would have been 4, probably. 4 more. All of that for 4 beers. But home, Brodie and her sister, Ellie, were still awake. It wasn't that late. I was really good at going in. I was going in early. I was always in early, but I was always pissed out my head. And they got in, I was like, I shat myself. And they didn't know the story that it's because I went to the spa because I'm an alcoholic. They were just I just walked home from the pub. Because I sort of put the beers in the front room. Because that was obviously the paraphernalia and the evidence that I'd sacrificed my jeans to get them. So they sort of found it funny because they just thought I'd just shat myself. Because I think everyone in life is going to shit themselves at least one time. But usually it's, when you can't help it. Yeah,
maybe there's some form of medical...
Yeah,
maybe not undercooked burgers.
Yeah,
and an overwhelming desire to purchase more Stella.
Yeah, I just decided to strip all my dignity right there and then. Do you reckon I should just play the intro and we'll just spare everyone the hassle?
I think it's that time.
Okay. See you later, everyone. That was the dirty work. Do you want to say anything?
With Sam and Rich.
Yeah,